Welcome back, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, to The Good Shepherd, episode 2. Appreciate all the feedback, all the positive reinforcement. Always good when you're starting something up, so I appreciate that. Tom Brady was on the Howard Stern show on Wednesday, and he made a lot of headlines, and it was particularly interesting what he divulged about him and Bill Belichick and about the relationship and what ultimately caused him to go to Tampa Bay. If you were Tom Brady, this is an incredible move. It's a risk, but it will only enhance your legacy, and here's why. Tom Brady's going to go to a team that has not won a playoff game in 17 seasons. A franchise where a 25-year-old Jameis Winston is the all-time leader in passing yards and passing touchdowns. Now, no one is going to anoint Jameis Winston as the next Joe Montana or Tom Brady, so it's saying something when a 25-year-old is the all-time leader in that. Now, I'm going to address the people that think Tom Brady is done. Here's what I do know. Tom Brady, without a Pro Bowl skills player, meaning receiver, running back, went 12-4. He went 12-4. And if not for the defense, not Tom Brady, the defense that decides to give up 27 points against the Dolphins team that they shut out at the beginning of the season, they're going to end up with a bye. So they're not even going to be playing in the first round. This is also a defense in New England that gave up 20 points to Ryan Tannehill. Now, last time I checked, Ryan Tannehill is not Dan Marino. There you go. But what I also know is lastly this. Tom Brady was 7th in the NFL in passing yards. He's 42 years old and he's throwing over 4,000 yards in the air. That's good for 7th among all quarterbacks this season. I should say last season. You know who that's more than? Deshaun Watson. It's more than Patrick Mahomes. He's pretty good. And it's also more than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, keep in mind, played all 16 games, so that is not a diluted statistic. Now, out of the 6 quarterbacks ahead of Tom Brady in touchdown to interception ratio, only one of those quarterbacks has a better TD to INT ratio, that being Russell Wilson, a top 2 or 3 quarterback we have in today's game. Tom Brady threw 3 touchdowns for every 1 interception. He did it again without one single Pro Bowler as a receiver or a running back. And he did it, well, let's be honest, there was still some vivid friction between him and the head coach. So don't you dare say Tom Brady's done. I don't want to hear it. Because we were saying that in 2015 against the loss. Remember that loss to the Chiefs? And everyone was saying he's done at 2-2? What does he do? Gets back to 3 Super Bowls, 2 wins? Tom Brady has a lot left to prove. And again, he's going to a franchise that has not won in 17 years. Forget a Super Bowl, they haven't won a playoff game. But Tom Brady also referenced a guy by the name of Michael Jordan. And what was interesting when it came to Michael Jordan, he didn't talk about the statistics that Jordan put up. He didn't talk about the highlights that Jordan put up on SportsCenter, Fox Sports, etc. He talked about something different. Take a listen.
To compare me to Michael Jordan, I mean, Michael was like a physical freak, you know. He didn't start on the varsity when he was a freshman in high school. I didn't start on the freshman team when I was a freshman in high school. MJ was the 2nd pick in the NBA draft, or 3rd pick, whatever he was. I was the 199th pick. So I think you see some really incredible athletes. And Michael is the rare exception that he had the mental makeup.
You don't become Michael Jordan. You don't become Babe Ruth. You don't become Jim Brown. You don't become Wayne Gretzky without this. The mental acumen, the inner fortitude, and the mindset to never, ever settle for what people perceive as your best. Only your best is dictated on your own barometer. What's interesting about Michael Jordan is everyone wants to knock this guy for going to Washington. And that's why I'm going to make the comparison here, because Brady is going to the Bucs. The only player I can think of the athletic caliber of Tom Brady is Michael Jordan, that decided to go to another franchise when we thought, as fans, as media alike, they would remain with that franchise for their entirety of their career. That wasn't the case. So Michael Jordan went to the Wizards, a team that had won 17 games the season before. He doubled the win total. That season, despite playing 62 games, I missed 22, it was 60 games. He finished 13th in MVP voting. That was 1 point behind Kevin Garnett, who would win the MVP 2 seasons later. And it was more points than Steve Nash, a guy that would win back-to-back MVP years 3 and 4 years later, respectively. Michael Jordan that season had 5 40-point games. All 5 of those games, he shot 50% or more. We also know that Michael Jordan was a facilitator with the basketball. Only John Stockton, Jason Kidd, and Steve Nash, the 3 all-time assist leaders in NBA history, had 5 assists per game or more at the age of 39 or older. Jordan joins that company. The next season, Jordan plays 82 games at 40 years old, becomes the first player in NBA history to score at least 40 points while being 40 years old. By the way, the season before that, he dropped over 50 in a game. Oldest player in NBA history to do that when he accomplished that. That's remarkable. So the next season, what does he do? He plays over 3,000 minutes. That was not accomplished by any player at any age last season in the NBA. Not this season. The 18-19 season, where obviously 82 games played out. Not one player at any age played over 3,000 minutes. Jordan did. If we want to take that a little further, in the last 9 seasons, only 5 players have topped 3,000 minutes. Jordan did it at 40. What Jordan also did that season is he scored over 1,600 points. Only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar finished within 70% of that point total for anybody 40 or older. And there's been at least 20, 30 guys that have played this game until 40. And you don't play this game until 40 in the NBA unless you are an all-star caliber player. So it's not like at 40 you have a bunch of stiffs still limping around in the NBA. Michael Jordan gets a bad reputation with the Washington Wizards. But the reality is they had not won a playoff game since the 1980s, and the year after he left, they won 25 games. So when Jordan arrived, they got significantly better. They doubled their win total, and when he left, they lost 12 more games the next season. You know what? Come to think of it, Michael Jordan played with zero players that in the entirety of their careers made 0 All-NBA first, second, and third teams. Not one player he played with made an All-NBA team. Jordan was the best player at 40 years old on a Wizards team that significantly increased their win totals the year he got there, and then when he stepped away, they got significantly worse. Michael Jordan at 39 and 40, the numbers he put up, shooting 45% from the field, mind you, when he was 40 years old. The numbers he put up, I think he scored 3 40-point games that season. Obviously, that had never been done by anybody a season in which they were 40 years old. Michael Jordan did it 3 times. We got to be accurate and we got to be fair when we revisit the legacies of the all-time icons in sports. And Michael Jordan, to me, when everyone doubted him and everyone wanted to castigate him and point a finger and wag their finger and say, you know what, Jordan, we don't want you going to Washington. You're going to tarnish your legacy, a la Namath to some degree, Unitas, Mays, guys that maybe hang on a little too long, guys that obviously we know went to different teams. We associate Namath with the Jets, didn't finish with them. Unitas with the Colts, didn't finish with them. Mays with the Giants, didn't finish with them. But Michael Jordan, unlike those 3, was pretty freaking good at that age in which he joined the last team he played for. These comments are very indicative of a Michael Jordan mentality that Tom Brady referenced. And really, I couldn't say it better myself. Take a listen. Obviously, this is courtesy of ESPN.
If I can do it, great. If I can't, that's great too. But you can't take my 6 championships away. You can't take all the things that I've done.
So, folks, lastly, I really appreciate you listening to this whole podcast / episode, The Good Shepherd. That's my channel. The Bulls are coming out with this amazing documentary called Last Dance. It is going to debut in about a week and a half from now on April 19th. And I'm going to talk about why Michael Jordan may not actually be the most interesting player on that squad. It wasn't Michael Jordan. I'm going to tell you who that is and why that is. But guys, again, I'm going to keep pointing the fingers down. Hopefully it comes up. You can subscribe to my channel, The Good Shepherd. I'm going to come up with all kinds of topics throughout the sports year. I know it's a tough time right now in sports without any live games, but I'm going to do my best to make sure I'm hitting on topics that are interesting to you, interesting to the people that took the time to subscribe to my channel. So comments, leave it, feedback, what you want to see better. I'm going to be receptive of that because obviously I'm nothing without the subscribers in which I have. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen. Hope you guys have a great day, and make sure you subscribe to Good Shepherd. More importantly, last but not least, everyone continue to stay safe out there. Thank you.